Good is in English, good morning. So yeah, on the road to change, or road of change. I won't tell you all the things that we're going to show at the IAA because a few things are still in motion, but I'm going to say and conceptualize most of it in the next couple of pages. For those who don't know us, because we are a newly listed company, just briefly, we're 8 brands which you see at the bottom, which is the capital, the bus brands. We have the truck, the FPT, industrial powertrain business, Iveco Defense, which is now rebranded IDV. So we have removed Iveco from the defense division as its brand name, but it is a very strong standalone business in itself. Astra and Magirus. We have a lot of plants, a lot of R&D centers, 34,000 employees, most of them in Europe. And we are about a 13 billion euro revenue company. 75–80% of that is in Europe. So we are essentially a very European-centric group. We were founded in 1975, which is not only my year of birth, but it's 1975 was the year when Iveco came together, multiple brands, and it was actually Europe's first truck group, if not the world's first truck group, comprising of several brands, most of them European. And from that moment on, several other brands joined the group, and eventually we were merged into CNH Industrial, and we were demerged from CNH Industrial, which is called a spin-off. And as of January 1st, we are an independently listed truck and powertrain, bus, commercial vehicle and powertrain group at the Milan Stock Exchange. That's just a few minutes to start with to get everybody in the same spot, so who we are and what we are not anymore, and where you can find us. We will be present at the IAA with 3 of our 8 brands, predominantly obviously with the Iveco commercial vehicle, and I will talk a bit about the things we're going to show. The Iveco bus in a significantly reduced presence. We discussed this yesterday as well at the VDA round. We'll show a few projects, but we had massive presentations of our bus business in Turkey and in France, which were very dedicated bus shows, but we'll have some projects on display as well. And very, very importantly, innovations around the powertrain division from FPT Industrial. But we're not there alone, we are together with partners. And you've heard us talk about the partnering the Iveco way. We are not of a size that we can invent everything ourselves, and we don't want to, because I think there are very agile, very young companies around us that help us to accelerate in this direction. I'll talk about a few of those later in my very short presentation here. A few things to highlight. I mean, we are doing the autonomous world with Plus AI. We have the autonomous trucks capable of stage 4 ADAS running as we speak on test tracks in Europe, one of them actually in Balocco, Italy, so that's coming. And also on the battery side, we are developing our own batteries. We're producing them actually later this year for the electric daily, which I'll talk about as well. We have autonomous systems for the buses with EasyMile, and a great partnership as well is with Amazon Web Services, where we use the Alexa speech layer to basically connect all the systems of the truck, connected all the systems with the central control room, as well as with the haulers and the dispatchers. And we are not using the data from going to Amazon. It's just the layer of Alexa, which is addressing another issue of the driver shortage in Europe, because Alexa speaks basically every language of Europe, and you can universally use your mother tongue to communicate within the fleet with the haulers, etc. It's a universal translation interface. One partnership which is not on this page yet, but we announced it, is obviously the partnership with Hyundai, which is a pretty comprehensive set of things we work on, and we'll show more of what this means and where this is going at the IAA. So much for the general introduction. We'll be at the IAA booth in Hall 24. We'll have 16 vehicles inside, 27 outside, and 10 for test drive, including obviously the electric Nikola Trade truck built in Ulm. We're going to use one of those vehicles that we are preparing for the Port of Hamburg, and you will have the pleasure to drive it, which is the most powerful electric heavy-duty articulated truck you can drive without any shifting. I hope they have a 40-ton GVW and a fully loaded trailer there, otherwise this thing is a bit too powerful, I would say, but we're going to downgrade it obviously for serious use. So this is a little bit where you find us. There will be a press conference on the 19th of September, I think around 10:30 or so, and you're obviously invited for the Iveco press conference, and there's also the Nikola press conference on the same day. One of the key world premieres that we're going to showcase at the IAA is the Electric Daily, which is our wide market segment leading cab chassis vehicle, where we have 25% market share in the cab chassis segment. We're going to have it in a fully modular platform, which you can see on the sustainability side. You can choose 1, 2, or 3 batteries. It's fully modular, and all the superstructures that you can fit today on the Daily, you can fit on the E-Daily without any change. Even the PTOs are sitting in the same place. The electrification was done with a very, very clear target to keep it as simple, if not the same, for every superstructure that will be put on the Electric Daily. The battery power is 37 kilowatt hours per battery. Again, 1, 2, or 3. And these batteries are produced by FPT Industrial based on Magirus modules. And we're also going to have those batteries on display, including the batteries as well, which we will put into our new Crossway low entry electric. We have the very, very known daily versatility of basically being capable of serving any segment in the light commercial vehicle industry. Will be electrified, and you can see this with the PTO up to 15 kilowatt power. You know the chassis. We have charging infrastructure available as well. We have a configurator, etc. What we're also going to show is a prototype of a Daily with fuel cell. So you can see we have 1, 2, or 3 batteries. It's quite simple. We just remove 2 batteries and then we put fuel cell in the space. And what young companies or startups call in their fancy language surfboard or skateboard, Iveco has never abandoned. We always had a chassis, and the chassis is nothing but the same concept of a surfboard or skateboard. And with the electrification, this gives us a great advantage to electrify this very important segment from 3.5 to up to 7.2 tons GVW. So you'll see the full lineup of the E-Daily, and you will see a fuel cell range extended prototype, which will give us in the 7.2 ton configuration a range of up to 400 kilometers based on, let's see, about 10 kilograms of hydrogen at the 700 bar gauges pressure. So that shall be enough for this segment and will be fully dedicated to zero emission in the segment. But not on this page, we're going to showcase special editions of the Daily. Highly emotional, very famous names we'll use to create a special edition of the Electric Daily, but as well on the Daily 4x4. I didn't give you a page here, but we're going to have the Daily 4x4 in its latest, newest edition there as well. And obviously as well the Daily in minibus versions available in gas, in CNG, and hybridization. So this is pretty much what we have for the Daily, but the E-Daily is the world premiere, as you can imagine. So on the bus side, as I mentioned, we were pretty strong and pretty broad in Turkey and in France in very dedicated bus shows. We're going to bring a few projects to the IAA. We're going to showcase some of the high sellers, but there's not the presence that we had seen in Turkey or France. So we will, for example, we'll showcase, we're doing in Italy an in-road charging infrastructure through induction. So we're going to bring that to the IAA just to showcase that this could be a way to use in-road charging as an option. It's one of the ways we need to explore in order to electrify this part of transport. So we'll be there with the bus, but the presence was way more dominant than present in Turkey and France. Very important, very, very important is the FPT presence at the IAA. From the e-powertrain lineup, we know that in 2019, when we announced the partnership with Nikola, we were the first to go after a full electric e-axle. There was an obvious way to do a retrofit of a diesel with an electric engine in the middle, a transmission in between, and then you just use a conventional e-axle, which is from a vehicle packaging impossible, or at least it's completely not delivering the value and the range that is required. So the first step was, and will always be, an electric axle, where basically the engine, the clutch, the transmission, the prop shaft, everything consolidates into just the axle in order to allow a fully modular vehicle packaging. And we're going to showcase at the IAA, obviously, the full lineup of the e-axles that we have developed, from a light-duty e-axle to a medium-duty e-axle, to obviously the heavy-duty e-axle, which is in its first generation in serious production for the Nikola Trade lineup in the US as well as in Europe. But there's also a next generations of those axles coming, which is very, very important. On the internal combustion engine, I'm going to showcase as well here our all new, brand new, not even a screw the same, Cursor 13 engine. So we'll replace the current Cursor 13 engine in 2024 with an all-new diesel engine, which is not only capable of diesel, but obviously of gas as well, with substantial fuel consumption reduction versus today. And that engine can as well, if the suppliers are capable of supplying us suitable injectors and other components, hydrogen. We do have hydrogen combustion engines on test benches, which everybody else has as well. Hydrogen combustion engines are, in terms of durability and let's say their ability to put into vehicles at its infancy. We believe we need to play on all combustion technologies in order to have access to renewable fuels, as President Müller mentioned. We just cannot back only electric as commercial vehicles. This is not going to go anywhere. And we cannot simplify our technology answer to the simplicity of what, let's say, the political mind can understand. We need to play in battery electric for more regional. We need to play in fuel cell electric range extender for the more longer haul repetitive routes. And we absolutely need renewable fuels in the propulsion for commercial vehicles in the long run. Think of 2.5 million heavy-duty trucks on European roads, including Eastern Europe, and you're adding 250,000 every year, and you're retiring 250,000 every year. If we as a manufacturers are able to deliver 10% of newly registered vehicles zero-emission electric in 2025, and then it increases until 2030, we will have 200 to 300,000 electric heavy-duty trucks on roads within a fleet of 2.5 million. This is not going to, it helps. I'm not saying it's ridiculously low, but it is not delivering the contribution we need to bend the climate curve. So there's no way around renewable fuels. And we are not only doing the next generation combustion engines for on-road, we're also doing this for off-road. As you know, we have a substantial exposure to construction machines and agriculture. And agriculture is not going to go electric in the heavy machines. It just doesn't make any sense to go electric in those fields. For small tractors, maybe, for smaller excavators, maybe, but for the large machines, it doesn't make sense. The combustion engine is there to prevail, and Iveco Group and FPT are going to continue to lead the way. We're going to have on display, that's the last page, obviously, the European version of the Nikola Trade 4x2. Yeah? So far online, you have only seen the US version of the 6x2 battery electric. So we're going to have the 4x2 there, which is in Ulm on the production line as we speak, and we're going to also showcase the fuel cell electric production version of the Nikola Trade for the European market. These vehicles will be produced in Ulm, as most of you have seen at the plant opening last year, and these vehicles are currently in commissioning work for especially the European on-road regulations, as we started our electric heavy-duty journey in the United States, which was an agreement with our partner, which we absolutely don't regret. Actually, it was the right way to go. So you're going to see the battery electric 4x2, and you're going to see a completely reworked next version, next step evolution of the fuel cell electric 6x2 for the European market on a fully modular platform where we can exchange as OEMs battery electric technology and fuel cell electric technology on the same platform. These are not retrofitted. This is not rip out the diesel engine, repopulate the space with components you can find among suppliers and call it electric. These are electric-born platforms of the first generation with an electric axle and full modularity. And the 4x2 will enter production for European customers mid of next year, and the fuel cell electric version end of next year, which were, by the way, the targets we gave ourselves back in September 2019. Regardless of COVID, of supply chain interruptions, the disruptions, regardless of what's happening right now in the Ukraine and Russia and everything that comes with it. We've promised it, and it's going to come at the IAA. We're going to have the battery electric US version for test drive at the IAA, obviously, as well. And again, I hope that we can load it up to 44 tons GVW to really prove what the power of this platform can do, because driving empty articulated trucks without a trailer is ridiculous. Yeah? So it has to come with 44 tons GVW. So to the organizers of the IAA, make sure that none of the electric trucks hauls empty. This is not a showcase, this is not ribbon cutting and not kind of pleasing. These are machines that need to make money, and we happily display this under full load. This is pretty much what we have. So the E-Daily, a lot of powertrain innovations, and the Nikola Trade series production version of the battery electric on display and fuel cell in a more advanced stage pre-production. That's what we have, and so thank you. See you at the IAA Transportation, and there's also gonna come more. I know you had more expectations for today, but there will be more around the concrete next steps and the concrete projects that we have in the pipeline together with Hyundai, or Hyundai. Thank you very much.